Hey guys, let's just go right ahead and jump right into things. This is going to be part 2 video for lesson 1.6. If you remember from our last lesson, we said that we can determine if two ratios are proportional by cross multiplying. Well, in these examples, we already know that these two ratios are proportional. They're equal to each other. We just need to use that cross multiplication to figure out what our missing variable is. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. I have highlighted 4 examples, 1, 2, 3, 4 that I'm going to do for you. The other 4 are yours. So we're going to split them in half this time. So let's go ahead and get started now. I didn't leave a lot of room for these, unfortunately, so I'm just going to kind of do my work next to it and go down, because if I just start down here, I don't have a lot of room, not as much at least as if I were to start over here. Okay, so we're going to be cross multiplying just like in our last video, so that means multiply straight across that equal sign. Now you can only cross multiply when it's two fractions that are equal to each other. If there was an addition symbol here in between the two of them, or a subtraction symbol here in between the two of them, you can't cross multiply that stuff. You can only cross multiply to find your variable when it's two ratios that are equal to each other. All right, so make sure you really pay attention to that. So p times 4 is just 4p. And then multiply the other way. And we have 3 times this entire expression here, which is p plus 5. So equals 3 times p plus 5. All right. So now I have this written as an equation, which we're used to by now. We did this for our quiz. So I'm going to draw a line down my equal sign, split it into 2 halves, and solve the same way I would. 4p equals, distribute that 3p, 3 times 5 is 15. So we'll have 3p plus 15. How do you solve this? We need to get all of our variables to one side, so let's do our inverse operation. 3p is already positive, so opposite operation is to subtract. And we have p equals 15 as our answer. Okay? So not too bad. They just start getting a little bit messy as you advance. Alright, so let's look real quick at your examples. The next two, 54 and 55, look exactly like 53. And what I mean by that is you've got a variable, two variables, in the numerator of each expression. So here we've got x's in the numerators, and here we've got a's in the numerators. All right, so let's go down to one that looks different. Let's go down to 56. Here we have two variables again, but this time they're part of the same fraction. One's in the numerator, one's in the denominator. So what do you think is going to happen with this one? Let's find out. Let's cross multiply. 10 times x is 10x. And cross multiply the other way, we have 4 times x minus 7. 4 times this entire expression, so we need to use our parentheses here, hope you realize. 10x equals 4 times x minus 7. Okay, so nothing different actually happened here. This equation looks exactly like this equation did. I have some coefficient with a variable on the left side, and on the right side I've got some distribution. So over here we're going to solve the same way. Distribute 4x times negative 7 on the left. Let's go ahead and draw a line down our equal sign. On the left we just have 10x equals 4 times x is 4x, and then 4 times negative 7, that's going to be negative 28. Okay. To solve, we need to get all of our variables to the other side. Use your inverse operation, so subtract 4x, and we have 6x equals negative 28. Divide by 6, and you'll have x equals, negative 4.7. And it's perfectly fine that some of these will be decimal answers, because in yesterday's video we definitely got a decimal answer, so no big deal. All right, let's go over to 57. Okay, so in this example, we're going to cross multiply again. Here, we're going to have a variable in the numerators, just like before. But what's different is, in our other example, this variable was by itself. This wasn't an expression with a constant. It was just a variable. But here, we've got a variable with a constant. So what do you think is going to happen? Let's see. We have 5 times the expression n minus 9, I'm sorry. So we have 5 times n minus 9 equals, cross multiply the other way, 9 times n plus 10. So 9 times n plus 10. Remember to use your parentheses. Now we need to distribute twice. Oops, fingers twice. So let's draw a line down our equal sign and do our distribution. 5 times n and 5 times 9 minus 45 equals 9 times n is 9n, and 9 times 10, of course, is 90. Okay. Now, like I told you before, it really doesn't matter what side you move all your variables to. Just make sure that all the variables go to one side and your constants go to the other. So let's add 45 over here and subtract 9n over here. Okay, so on the left, we've got 5n minus 9n is negative 4n equals 90 and 45. We're going to have 135. Okay. Now our last step is to divide out this negative 4. And we're going to get n equals 135 divided by negative 4, decimal, negative 33.8. On your calculators, if you get decimals like this, you need to round to the nearest tenth. So because this is a 5, we need to round this up to 33.8. Make sure you pay attention to that. All right, last example. Let's go down to 60. 78 looks like 78. 58 looks like 57. It's just that instead of in the numerators, they're both in the denominator. But you're going to end up getting the same kind of problem. And what I mean by that is you're going to have distribution on both sides. Same thing here. We have 2 expressions with 2 variables in the denominator, or in the numerators. Okay, so let's look at 60. Last one we're going to do, let's cross multiply. We'll have 10 times x minus 3. And then the other ones equals 5 times x minus 1. So this comes out the same way the other ones did. We need to distribute twice, 10 times x and 10 times negative 3. 10x minus 30 equals 5 times x, 5 times negative 1. 5x minus 5. Please pay attention to your negatives. Some of us are losing silly points. Draw a line down your equal sign and solve. Let's move our variables to the left, constants to the right. So subtract 5x. And we'll have 5x minus 30 equals negative 5 is left on this side. Keep the negative with it. Now let's add 30 to the right side. 5x equals 25. And we all know when we just divide 5, we're going to get x equals 5. All right, make sure that you answer your questions on Schoology. Do these last 4 examples. Have them done in class tomorrow.